Good morning, welcome to day 46 of Morning Maths. You ready to go? Let's get started with question 1. Value of the 3 in 369. Put my hats on. Units, also known as ones, tens, hundreds. Value of the 3. What's this 3 worth? The answer is 3 hundreds, of course, because it's in the hundreds column. So this is how we write 3 hundreds. You can copy the spelling if you're not sure. And 3 hundreds looks like this in digits, 300. That's question 1 done already. I wonder if I can move this up a bit. There we go, that gives me more space for question 2. Question 2 is our column addition question. 263 plus 469. Put my hats on again. Units, tens, hundreds. 3 plus 9. Let's do this here. 3 plus 1. Whoops. 3 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 12. Do you know there's probably an easier way to do that? Because I did 3 plus 9. But if I did 9 plus 3, I wouldn't have to count as far. Because I could just go 9 plus 1, 2, 3. And still get 12. So that might be a good little trick for you to sometimes use. If you're counting, when you're adding, you start on the biggest number. You haven't got as far to count. Anyway, 6 plus 6 plus a little 1. 6 plus 6, 6 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's 12. Plus 1 more is going to be 13, isn't it? Now, these numbers are both quite small, but if I start on 4, I've got less distance to count. It's 4 plus 2. 4 plus 1, 2 is 6. Plus this very little 1 is 7. Not worth, it's worth a lot, isn't it? It's worth 700. 3 tens and 2 units. 732. That was question 2. Plus makes things bigger. That's just my little check. And we go on to question 3. We're doing some really good now in year 3 level here. We're doing some really good plus and minus. Some really good 3-digit numbers. 1, 2, 3 digits minus 1, 2, 3 digits. That's the word for minus, of course, the minus sign. 1 take away 6, we can't do. If you had one sweet, you couldn't give away 6, could you? So you need to get some help. The units, we can't do 1 take away 6. We'll get some help from the tens column. The tens, 5 tens can go down to 4 tens. We can take one of those, put it over here. Now we have 11 units. 1 10 and 1 unit is 11 units. We can do 11 take away 6. 11 take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 take away 4 is 0. 4 take away all of the 4 is 0. 4 take away 2. 4 take away 1, 2 is 2. That was a bit messy. 4 take away 1, 2 is 2. That wasn't that good, but it's definitely 2. 205. Let's clear up a bit. And I can go on to question 4. 4 times 8. Most people prefer their 4s to their 8s. So we're singing our 4s 8 times. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 and 28 and 32. We've got up to 32. I counted up to 8 fingers and I had 32. Well, that's what I said, 32. So that's the answer. What you say is the answer on times. Question 5, I can actually fit here. What are we doing here? 15 divided by 5. 15 shared between 5. A good way of counting cubes to check is by doing a little mark on them if you're doing a test or something. So I'll count that there's 15 by marking them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, I've only got 14, but I can see which one I didn't count because it hasn't got a mark on it. This one here. So 15. So there are 15. That's a good little tip if you're counting something in a test. Anyway, 15 divided by 5. We'll share those cubes out into 5 groups, won't we? 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. And we make it fair like we do every day. I'm sure you're all brilliant at this by now. If you've been doing 46 days, you're going to be, aren't you? So, we get 3. 15 divided by 5 equals 3 because there's 3 in every single group. Every single group has 3 because the answer is 3. And we'll be moving on to year 4 in a minute. Just clear up a bit and clear up this. Year 4 level, question 6, value of the 4 in 8,411. What's the value of the 4? Um, 400, isn't it? It's in the hundreds column, so 4 hundreds. So you could call this question the value of the underlined digit, because they underline a digit in the question, and you've got to say what it's worth. It's obviously not worth 4. It's not worth 100. It's worth 400s. In digits, 400s, of course, looks like this. 400. Question 7 next. 2,000 more than 7,955. More than is plus, so it doesn't matter which number goes on the top. As you know, in plus, it doesn't matter. You can actually see the answer here is going to be 9,955. $9,955. As long as we did the right sign, which was plus, we should be fine. Next will be a minus, question 8. So question 8, 6,872 minus 3,352. Biggest number is at the top, which it has to be if you're doing the column subtraction method. The only time the biggest number might not be at the top is when you're doing negative numbers. I think that's fair to say. But if you're doing a column method subtraction like this, the biggest number goes at the top usually. Or really, it's more in a word problem that you have to make sure you get the biggest number at the top most of the time. So 2 take away 2 is 0, 7 take away 5 is 2, 8 take away 5 is 3, 6 take away 3 is 3. If you see a question like this, you just put that number at the top, because there's no words to jumble anything about. It's just going to be that minus that. I hope that's clear enough. Let's go to question 9. What are we doing here? 50 groups of 3. Groups of means times. 50 groups of 3. 50 times 3. We don't really need a method here, except for times tables in disguise. 5 times 3. 5, 10, 15. It's 15. But this is not 15 because there's another 0. It's 100. Whoops. It's 150. 50 times 3 equals 150. And we're on to question 10, which is share. And everyone knows that means divide. Question 10. Share 265 between 5. 265 between 5. It will divide by 5 because it ends in a 5. And if it ends in a 5 or 0, it divides by 5. 5 into 2 is 0. Carry the 2. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I've got 5 fingers when I've counted that. But I only said 25, and this is 26, so remainder 1. 5's into 15. 5, 10, 15 is 3. So we get the answer of 53. That's year 4 level questions done. Who's coming on to year 5 with me? We'll see. Question 11. Value of the 8 in 364.58. We want the value of the 8. So you don't need to put all your hats on if you don't need them, but I'll start with units because that's before the point. Then I know it's tenths, and then I know it's hundredths. So the answer is 8 hundredths. I'll write it, the word 8. I'll write the digit 8 and then hundredths. Not hundreds, of course, hundredths, which are much, much smaller. 0.08. If you're not sure how to write this version, you could write it underneath. Just line up the point and you change everything to zeros except for the column you're talking about, which is 8. And these could be zeros as well, but we don't put those zeros normally in front of it. If it's 0.08, we only need the 1 0 at the front. 8 hundredths, 0.08, fractions answer 8 over 100, of course. So there's 3 answers to that one. Let's go to question 12. If you're ready, hope you're ready. Question 12, 42.56. This is a nice one to line up. 4-digit number with 2 decimal digits added to a 4-digit number with 2 decimal digits. So the lining up is quite easy, therefore. 3 plus 7, 13. 5 plus 9, 14 plus 1, 15. 2 plus 5, 7 plus 1, 8. 4 plus 3, 7. 78.53. 78.53. We go to question 13. 33. Take away 5.46. 33.00. Take away 5.46. Let's see what happens. 0 can't take away 6, so go across to here. Do all the helping, all the borrowing. Don't forget the decimal point. 2 take away 5 we can't do again, so get some help. 27.54. Does that make sense? 33 take away 5 is 28. Take away 5 and a bit is 27 and a bit. Oh, and a number bond check. You might have noticed that before me if you're looking out for those. 46 and 54 does go together to make 100. That's why there's 2 zeros up the top. On to question 14. The product of, like yesterday, product means times. Product means times. 4.62 times 3. 4.62 times 3. Okay, 6, 18 and 13. 13.86. 2 decimal places in the question is 2 decimal places in the answer. 4 times 3 would be 12. This is a bit more than 12 because it's 4 and a bit times 3. So that makes sense. Make sure your answers make sense. Make sure if you're me that you put the question number. 14. Question 15. How many hundreds in 2,000? So I'll write 2,000. I'll put my hats on up to hundreds. I know you know where that is, but I find it does help in these questions. The mouse is all over the place, as it sometimes is, so hundreds. How many hundreds in 2,000? There are 20 hundreds, so the answer is 20. Probably best if I write 20 hundreds, so it makes it clear that I'm not just saying it's 20. It's 20 hundreds, and it is hundreds this time. That's how many hundreds are in 2,000? 20 of them. That means, what does that mean? If you divided 2,000 by 20, you would get 100. I guess that's what that means. Let's go to question 16. Year 6 level. I can go fast now. Value of the 5 in 53. I was looking for a decimal. There's no decimal here, just a comma, which is not a decimal point. The value of the 5, that's what they want, 5. Units, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands is that column. Make sure you're careful to get that. So it's 5 10,000s. 5 10,000. 5 10,000s. The mouse is surprising me with its jumping, even after all this time. 5 10,000s. In digits, it's 5, and everything else gets changed to a 0. So it ends up being 50,000. 5 10,000s is 50,000. I often think that's the hardest column you get asked about. It's the one that tricks people. Because 10,000s, 5 10,000s doesn't really sound like 50,000s. Anyway, question 17, we have a decimal number plus a whole number. So 13 will need some decimal places. 0.000. This should be some easy addition here, shouldn't it? 6, 5, 7, 7, 1. Don't forget decimal point. 17 and a bit. 4 plus 13 is 17, and there's the bits. 0.756. Question 18. This is one where you could get tricked, Question 18, because you need to put the biggest number on the top, usually in a word problem, unless it's dealing with negative numbers. And this is not, so we need to get the biggest we need to get the biggest number at the top. The mouse is making some crazy pictures on me today. It's quite fun actually for me. 1157, take away 200. What are we going to do here? This looks okay. 7 and 5. 1 take away 2 we can't do. Well, 11 take away 2 is 9, so it's a bit of a shortcut. You don't really have to do the helping, because it's still 11 take away 2, isn't it? So 957. Sometimes you can miss off a bit of the helping if you know what you're doing. 957 makes sense. 200 less than that, so the number's got smaller. It's now only 957. Question 19 is next, and this is doubling. 19, doubling. 8.89 doubled. It means times by 2. Timesing by 2 is not normally that difficult. I don't think timesing's a word. So multiplying by 2 is not normally that difficult. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. Right. I'm struggling with the mouse today. 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. 8 doubled would be 16. But the 0.89 doubled makes a carried 1. Okay. And it makes 17 and a bit. And the last question. How many 5s in something? How many somethings in a something is division? Bus stop, especially for big numbers like this. I'm having to rewrite most of these numbers today. 65,465. How many 5s in there? Lots. But it does fit exactly because it ends in a 5. That many. 13,093. Let's check that and everything else in a few seconds. Check these answers are all correct. Thanks for listening to another day, day 46. And I'll see you next time. Just give you long enough to pause it if you need to pause it. I'll see you next time.